Charlie to write a column that's going to be part of Profiles in Excellence, and to pick a topic. So the topic that we're going to talk about is the state of cyber. And
so I'm just going to say a couple sentences on me, and then I'll get into the topic. Okay.
Perfect.
Whenever you're ready, let me know.
We're ready. We want to hear Charlie Armstrong's vision of Profiles in Excellence for cybersecurity.
I'm Charlie Armstrong, and I'm a retired federal CIO. I spent 32 years in federal service and was both the Deputy CIO at Homeland Security and the CIO for U.S. Customs and Border Protection. During that time, I had a huge responsibility in maintaining cybersecurity and building a cybersecurity program at both the department and at CBP. So today I'd like to talk a little bit about cyber. I get an opportunity to get out and talk to CIOs both in the federal government and in state and local governments. And one of the big topics I hear is there's still a lot of concern over the movement to cloud. And not just from a technical standpoint, right? There's a whole list of things that you need to worry about to make sure that you're technically ready to move to cloud. Everything from, encryption of data at rest and encryption of data while it's on the move and so forth, to visibility into the cloud providers' security controls. But more than that is around the contracting. What as the CISO and CIO, what access do you have, what controls do you have, and how do you hold that cloud provider accountable? When we started moving to cloud, there was a lot of discussion as to whether you were going to do private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and what we're seeing is, a lot of different cloud providers are out there, and they're specializing in specific areas, everything from, email and office suites to running your main applications to running COTS types of applications. All that really adds a lot of complexity in the environment, and so it's really important to make sure that you've got in your contracts the ability to do the things that you need to enforce all the FIPS standards and NIST standards around cyber, because you're not doing the cyber anymore. You're relying on them to provide that security for you. So you're only as strong as their weakest link. The other thing I hear a lot about is IoT. IoT is still a sore spot for agencies both at the federal level and state and local. And mainly because IoT is normally purchased by the operators, right? I mean, it doesn't come through an IT shop. If the police department wants to go buy body-worn cameras, they go do some kind of bake-off, and they figure out which body-worn camera they want, and they go buy it. And along with that comes, how do you store the data? What's the policy around the data? Retention, FOIA, all that kind of stuff. And so having good hooks in for the CISO to be able to implement policy and ensure the operators are complying with those policies to help secure the environment is extremely crucial. And we're just seeing the IoT explosion beginning, because as more and more devices get enabled, not just body-worn cameras, but everything that we use, from our vehicles to our refrigerators, there's IoT embedded in it. So being able to manage and monitor all that stuff is going to be crucial in the future. And also making sure that those IoT providers are keeping up with compliance and patching and standards that will help keep those devices secure. And then finally, and this is really more specific to the federal government because of the EIS migration, but it does concern a lot of state and locals, is implementing zero trust in their networks, right? So in the past, we've relied on this really heavy perimeter defense. We put a lot of money into trusted internet connections, and now moving to managed internet connections by the carriers. But the bottom line is, with the sewing together of all these cloud services, you really need a more defense in depth approach, and that's where zero trust comes in. We've been talking about zero trust for about 10 years now, but there's a great opportunity with EIS being awarded now, and agencies doing their fair opportunities to start to bake that in early on so that you've got stronger defense in depth. You're able to do better identity management everywhere along the way. You'll know what devices are connected to the network and are they authorized to be accessed and by who. So those are kind of some big things that I hear a lot about from not just federal CIOs and state and local CIOs, but CISOs quite a bit. And having the ability for the CISOs to brief the risk around all those things up the chain, not just to the CIO, but all the way to the head of the agency or the board or whoever the governance body is around deciding what level of risk they're willing to accept and where the money's going to come to pay for this stuff. So it's a big challenge ahead, but it's an exciting time too.